Copilot Studio, guiding your chatbot takeoff with AI Aviation. So there's a title I went for to playing with the theme of aviation for the conference. What the talk really is about is how I created the Copilot AI chatbot for the SQLBits website. So when you go on the website, there's a little orange box in the bottom right corner, chat with us, you click that, and it's a Copilot chatbot underneath, answering the questions for you. Getting data from the SQLBits.com website, as well as some Word documents of other FAQs the volunteers and the committee get. So I'm going to talk you through, as a business problem, why SQL Bits felt they needed to get a Copilot chatbot, and how Copilot delivers solutions to those business problems. Just before we kick off, feedback slide. I'll put it back again at the end, but if you could provide feedback, there are prizes for it, and it's really useful for me in terms of how well I've communicated this to you and how good this talk is. So, a bit more information about who I am. I'm Lewis Prince. I work for a company called Purple Frog Systems, and I'm a machine learning developer. Purple Frog pretty much do anything data-wise, from Power BI development, Fabric Dev, Power BI, data engineering, machine learning and AI, where I come in. In terms of my background, I'm a certified Microsoft data scientist and AI engineer associate. I've held them for about 2 years now. In general, I've got 6 years experience working in the data industry, primarily for the mediums of R, VBA, SQL, Spark, and Python. So, if you want to contact me, questions online, if you could DM me through LinkedIn. That's the bottom. It'll be my pretty face there when you look for the profile. Twitter, I don't really use too much, but my handle is there. And I have started doing some personal blogging recently, so that QR code will take you to there. So the flight plan for today. As I said, we're going to approach this from a kind of a business problem viewpoint as to what the problem is, how AI chatbots in general can deliver solutions to those problems, and how Copilot can put them in place. And then we'll go through kind of a creation on the fly of an AI chatbot for SQLBits and kind of get a basic model in there. So do that through what the SQLBits business problem was. What is Copilot? I'm sure you've heard a lot about it over the last 2 days if you've been here. What is Copilot Studio? And then I'll go through a demo that will be in the Copilot Studio, and we will, on the fly, create a chatbot. So what was SQLBits business problem? So it was twofold. Firstly, the support deck was spending a lot of time answering low-level questions. Where is the conference? Will there be childcare there? What's the food going to be like? Very repeatable questions, usually kind of a sentence reply, or even just signposting people to the right location for information. It takes up a lot of time. And as you know, SQLBits is run by volunteers, and so their time is precious, and they want to be as effective as possible in doing so. So answering a lot of these repetitive questions isn't great. And for the frontline kind of support chat they had at the moment, that was outsourced, and it gave varying responses at varying levels of validity. So I think it was 20 or 30 people that worked in that outsourced team of varying levels of knowledge, customer service skills, and obviously, depending on time of day, you'll get different answers to the same questions, and those answers will be communicated to you in varying degrees of professionality based on who you talk to at that time. So that's not great either. So AI chatbots in general provide solutions to these problems via the following. So they give consistent answers. So as long as you're asking the question in generally the same format each time, you're going to get the same answer, if not identical each time. It's going to be very similar. So that's good as well, to get a consistent narrative on how you're answering questions. But it also deals with low to medium level questions relatively well. There's no deeper context needed, no having to go and ask someone else or ask another member of the committee to deal with these higher level questions. So it's kind of guarding off the support team, the volunteers, and making their time more impactful. So they have more time to organise sponsors to come, to organise the flight simulator downstairs, or make sure the food's good, to deal with the more hard-hitting tasks. And that transfers to business in general. We want to be as effective as possible for our time. So that's where the chatbots do come in terms of dealing with the lower complexity problems and questions in this regard. As well, they can be cheap to implement. I think last time I checked, a couple of weeks ago, I think Copilot Studio, a license, is £100, £130 per user environment. That gives you a lot of our chatbots in there, but it's per user logging into Copilot Studio to create those chatbots. And added, I thought of when I was coming to the meeting, the talk today, is that the chatbot's 24/7. It's not working a 9 to 5, and its answers aren't going to vary on if it's had a bad day or not. So it even gives you that dependability in terms of time. It never turns off, and also it's never going to vary on its mood, depending on how it's going to answer you. So, what is Copilot? I'm not going to go too deep into this, because it's been probably spoke about a lot if you've gone to other talks on these topics. But in general, it's a large language model, so an LLM, if you've heard that term before, that's what it means. It's developed by Microsoft after their investment into OpenAI, and it's based upon GPT-4's foundational language model. So it's not the same as what GPT-4 has, the foundational version of that. So it's not as powerful as what GPT-4 has at the moment, but is a version of that. And you'll commonly see it if you're not into like doing chatbots or in A commonly, as Bing Chat in Microsoft Bing, giving a similar experience to what ChatGPT does at the beginning, so asking it for recipes, vegetarians, who won the World Cup 5 years ago, those sort of questions based on information you can find commonly on the web. But the three main business applications at the moment that Microsoft have involving Copilot, the first would be Copilot Studio, so creating chatbots, bespoke chatbots in quite an easy fashion, which we'll go into on the next slide. You've also got Microsoft for Copilot for Microsoft 365, including Power BI. So the key goal of that is to kind of make people as efficient as possible in creating their Word documents, and maybe summarizing Word documents sent to you, analyzing Excel data and kind of getting that into a Word and to summarize what's happening in Excel. It's quite a powerful tool. I can see it probably being the most impactful application at the moment of Copilot. And the final being the several of the Copilots that Microsoft has announced for its services. So it's Copilot for security, Copilot for sales, and Dynamics 365. I think the basic kind of narrative they've given, if there's users in these kind of applications and programs, they will make a Copilot for it to make user experience better. But where there's not many users in, you have these bespoke Copilot creation places like Copilot Studio. You can create your own bespoke chatbots to find solutions. So what is Copilot Studio? In terms of what it can do for you, it allows for no-code accessibility. It's a very intuitive platform. It's democratizing AI chatbots. And it's kind of riding this wave of what Microsoft are doing a lot recently, in the last year or so, in terms of making AI really accessible. And it does that by being an easy-to-use interface. And I'll show you that when we get to the demo later on. And you can have a bot of varying degrees of effectiveness, based on the data you give it within about 5 minutes. So the original setup is about a minute, and it takes about 5 minutes for the background to go in as well. But we'll go through that very quickly. And that's if you have the source material at hand for the generative AI, which we do today. I've got the SQL bits chatbot to put in the back end, chatbot, website, sorry. And once you've got that chatbot, it's really simple to plug it into many channels, such as a website, as we've done for the SQL bits chatbot, Teams as a chat there, Facebook chats, Slack chats. There's a whole host of kind of places you can put these chatbots in. I'll show you that on a tab when we get to Copilot Studio. And it does also allow for traditional chatbot design. So it's been 3 or 4 years ago, it was kind of a prompt and response kind of thing you did. You say, if you see, I don't know, how do I get the train? Where can I get the train from? It'll respond with this reply. I think a top tip I would give in terms of when you are creating these AI chatbots is to try and let the generative AI do as much as possible. And if it's not giving you quite a correct answer, go back to your source material and try and make it clearer. So on the website, we've done a lot of work in terms of making sure there's no conflicting information. The information is clear, it's concise. in general, you should be able to give a document that you're going to put into this, a chatbot, to any person, and it should be understandable straight away without any context what a document is. So it's another big tip, and always trying to rectify the source material and try and make sure what you're putting is clear, concise, and understandable to any person. And it will be as effective as possible for the chatbot to read, and you're going to get a great Copilot then. So, demo. So we're going to start off with video. So this is the Copilot Studio when you kick it off. Here we have the Copilot for SQL Bits that's currently in production on the website. And this is going to be the initial setup. So I've clicked New Copilot. I'm going to give it a name. I have got fat fingers, so you'll notice I make a bit of a mess of this. It takes a second. It doesn't like any spaces or so I have to put an underscore there. Now I've got the SQLbits.com website, and I'm going to put it into where I want this generative AI. I've kept it in English. When I made this video, it was only English supported, but now there's pretty much most world languages can be done in Copilot now, in the Copilot Studio. And this is now setting up. As you notice, there's only 20 seconds left of the video. So that's how quick it takes to kind of get an AI chatbot set up to use. It is really that quick. And we'll pause there in a second. It is now ready, as it was when I did the video, to ask it questions, and we'll go to it in a second. But you will notice up here, and why I said it takes about 5 minutes to set up, not all the features in the background are available, like publicity to certain channels. That takes usually 3 or 4 minutes more in the background. But as it stands at the moment, you can already ask it questions and get started. So if we leave this, and we'll go. So when you kick this off, this is the interface you'll be given. So when I finished that video, this is what I had. And you have a test Copilot thing here. So you can ask questions like, where is Copilot? And don't forget, all we've given it so far is the SQLbits.com website. I've asked it where's Copilot, sorry. There we go. So it's told us it's at the Farnborough International Expo Conference Centre, and it's also given us a link to a document sent out, or put on the website in September 2023, that is telling us when it'll be held and where it's going to be held. So it's gone on the website, it's in a scoped, what Microsoft call a scoped Bing search of the website, and it's found the information based on that prompt I gave it. You can also ask questions as, will there be childcare? I'll answer the question saying yes, there will be childcare. It is available at SQL Bits. They provide childcare every year. It gives you bits of details about that. It also gives you links to where it's getting the information from. So if you want further information, what it's told you, you can look, you read, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about that crash based on the information on the SQL Bits website provided for the generative AI. Then you can also ask questions like, how can I get to the conference by train? Now, I asked this earlier, I wasn't totally happy with the answer was straight away. So it's not giving you exact information. It's a good answer, and it's telling you where you can get the information from. But it's a bit verbose in how it's doing it. So this is where really you should go back and try and make it clearer about how you can get train information from in the first instance, or we can add a manual topic in. So when you kind of set up the Bits Copilot, it gives you these topics already in the background. So examples of how you can set these up. So this is more traditional chatbot design. You've got trigger phrases, so prompts, and responses, a message. So you can have these yourself. So you can create topic from blank, probably the easiest. Enter phrases like travel by train, any kind of message saying yes. More details below, because we want to be more concise in that answer. Try and get that website on. Don't leave. And click save. It's taking a while. Okay, there we go. And it should give us that new concise. Yeah, there we go. So that's where we can override the generative AI in that regard. So you also have system ones. So this is like escalation. So when you ask to talk to a person, it sets up in there in terms of, at the moment, if you did the same with the Ethical Bits website, it would give you contact us at ethicalbits.com. That's where you escalate to. You'll talk to a person that way. But you have conversational boosting. This is where the Gen AI is set. So it's got that data source in there, but it also has the additional things. So it's content moderation. So this is where you can tell the chatbot to either be quite strict and how relevant the answer should be to the prompt. And it has a high, medium, and low. A low, it's where the answer might be a bit ropey. It's not totally sure if it's getting the right answer, but you're okay with that because you said a low on that content moderation. High, it's only going to answer if it's pretty sure it's right. That's what the person wants to hear. And you also have these custom instructions. So another top tip for this, in terms of setting the scene for your chatbot, you're telling it what it is. At the moment, the chatbot will talk about SQL bits in the third person because it's an outside thing to it. It's not part of the company, so to say. So for the one in production, I've told it is an employee of SQL Bits. So when it talks, it says stuff like we, us, SQL Bits, we provide a creche, we provide childcare. I'm not going to put it in the moment because we're starting to run out of time and it takes a while to save. So I'm just going to finish off on the publish. So it turns about the power of, yes, leave actually. Kind of pushing these out there. So these are the more general kind of ways you can push the website out. When I was happy with the one in production at the moment, all I had to do was publish it, which was on the slide before, and give the iframe to the web dev for the Ethical Bits website, and you put it in. That's how simple it is to push this out. And the same can be said for things like Teams or using SharePoints. The only problem with the SharePoint stuff is you do have to set up authentication underneath to prove to get into those Teams apps, to get into certain tenants that you are a part of the company that you're kind of discussing with. So it gets a bit more complex there in terms of setting the authentication up there. There's great documentation from Microsoft. So yeah, it's that simple to kind of make the chatbot and push it out there. So just to finish up the chat, the talk, and go for those top tips again. If the answers are right, your solutions adapt the source material first of all. That's the easiest way to do it, and try and leave all the work as much as possible to the generative AI. Try not to have too many prompts. It can get messy. When you have these prompts, they can overlap. So when I said earlier about a train, it could mean in terms of training days or the train journey travel. It can confuse the bot, confuse the chatbot. So you can get messy with too many of those. Document well formatted and clear. Give it to anyone, they'll instantly understand. And be clear how you set the scene for the bot. It works for SQL Bits. It should reply concisely and politely. That kind of thing. Be clear on how you're doing that. So thank you. That's the end of the talk. If you do want to get in touch, that's my information again. LinkedIn, work websites, more work blogs as well, and then the feedback slide again. Please give feedback. Thank you all.